Hey everybody, welcome back to Wealthy Sailor. Now, today I don't really have a very happy video for you. I want to make a very short video talking about wills and estate planning. It's something nobody likes to talk about. Nobody wants to think about something happening to them or a loved one, but it's very important, so we're going to talk about it now. Now, trust me, I'd rather not talk about this. Most of the times, the best performing videos I have talk about stuff like current investments, current events, or like cryptocurrency, stuff like that, like hot topic, easiest for things. But I'm putting this in here because it's very important. Wills and estate planning are so underrated, and it really shouldn't be. So let me tell you a story real quick. Back when I was in the Navy and I was doing financial counseling as sort of one of my side things while I was in, we had a young sailor pass away. He actually got into an accident in Greece on his motorcycle. So we're going through all of his paperwork to process everything. Now in the military, you automatically have a $400,000 life insurance policy. The military makes you get it, they pay it, you're good. He never updated his page 2, which for us is a dependent form. So he had a wife with a couple kids, and he had an ex-wife with no kids. The ex-wife was still listed on the life insurance policy. So he passed away, and we had no choice. Like it's not like the military can be like, oh well, we know better than you. What we have to go off what the service member authorized. And they said everything goes to the ex-wife, even though the ex-wife had no kids. His current wife was so distraught because not only did the main breadwinner of the family, in fact, in her case, I don't think she was working, but she could have been. Not only did the main breadwinner pass away, not only are you losing, the love of your life, your other half, your partner through everything, but now on top of this, you have multiple kids that you have to figure out what you're going to financially do. And by the way, they lived on base, so you only have like 40 or 50 days to then move. And it's just a lot. So having a will really helps navigate some of these things. Okay, so some quick reasons to have a will. Number one, it makes divvying up all your stuff a lot easier. Now, if you're married, everything goes to your significant other, obviously. And I'm not sure about the states where same-sex marriage, but I'm pretty sure even in same-sex marriages, everything goes to the other person. And then, so that makes it nice and easy. Your stuff goes over to them. And then likewise, if both parents pass away, it goes to kids. However, if that kid is a minor and you're trying to give them money, well, normally the money goes with the child. But the problem is that whoever is taking care of your child now can do whatever they want with the money. So if that's too far-fetched, then another very common one is simply siblings or family members fight over stuff. I mean, and it's not that they fight to be vindictive, although sometimes they are, and it's not that they're money grubbing, though sometimes they are. It's that everybody in the family is trying to do what they think you want. And if you've never talked about it, if you don't have a written will, it's hard to know that. So they're trying to honor your memory. And in doing so, they just create arguments and drama that doesn't need to be there. So you go ahead and make a will. This person gets this, that person gets that. This person does not get something else, and you're all good to go. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And especially for my service members, viewers out there, which I hope service members are watching this, I'm hoping you realize that you can go to the legal office and get a will in I think we went in there and we talked for 15 minutes, and a week later the will was done. So it was super easy. If you don't have a will, depending on your state and depending on who's making claims to your estate, all your assets could be tied up for months or even years in probate court. Now, when my father passed away, we got lucky there because in Pennsylvania, if somebody passes away, all their assets go to probate. It gives their debt collectors a chance to file for collection of the debts, and it gives the courts a chance to divvy it up based on who's applying for the assets. But my father had a will. It made everything very simple to go through. What his family got, what my aunts and uncles got, and then what I got. Very easy, very simple. And it also made us all feel better because his last wishes were there in writing. What kind of funeral he wanted, all kinds of stuff. So we didn't have to play this game of oh, what should we do? Should we do this? Should we do that? No, what he wanted is clearly there in writing, and it's good to go. Another reason to have a will, you have to figure out who's taking care of kids. If something happens to you, what happens to your underage children? It's it's unfortunately it is something we all have to consider. And these verbal agreements we give to each other aren't great for court. For example, I am a pseudo stepfather to my son. I say pseudo because although I've been raising him for like 10 years, I'm not married to his mom yet and I didn't adopt him, which means that if something happens to her, I have no legal right to him. His biological father does, and probably his grandparents. Now, in the event something does happen, forbid that, um, I still think I would get custody of him. But if not, that's all something that I have to consider, and it has to be done in writing because otherwise, I would literally have almost no standing in court. Luckily, he's old enough now that, if we went to court and he said he wanted to live with me, he probably would, but it's all something to consider. And these decisions have to be made before something bad happens. And people have this idea that nothing bad can happen to them. Sure, it happens to people, but it won't happen to them. And it's a mistake. And we all need to get over it and realize our own mortality so we can get these things in order. Depending on your state, doing a will also minimizes tax burdens. It was very difficult to look this up and do research on it because each state's kind of different on it. But if you talk to a lawyer in your state when you're doing your will, they should be able to help you navigate through how you can pay less taxes and how to protect you from the estate tax and stuff like that. And the last major reason I found was you can disinherit people. Now, I don't know. I can't. Nobody in my life has done anything so bad to me that I'm like, nope, they get nothing if I pass away. But if they did, then the only way to actually prevent them is to disinherit them. Like your next of kin can't go to court and tell a judge like, oh well, our father didn't like him, so he shouldn't get anything. Realistically, the judge is just going to split it up how he sees fit, regardless of the testimony of anybody else. So if you want to disinherit somebody, you have to put it in the will. So those are some of the main reasons. But the thing is that wills do so much. You can create trusts with wills, which I'm a huge fan of. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can put your funeral requirements. You can have a living will where it tells you what you want if you should end up in the hospital or if you end up in like a vegetative state, stuff like that. These are all very good things to have, especially if it's something you really care about. And it's not so much about you, it's about your family and your loved ones. The thing is that I don't really care if I have a will, but I do care if if something happens to me, then my fiance has to get evicted from our home because I didn't set up the accounts right and she doesn't have access to the stuff she needs access to be able to survive after I'm gone. Same with like my son, like I want to make sure if something does happen to me that he's at least set for like college or at least any major stuff. So me not getting this stuff done is actually very selfish on my part. And I think we all need to realize that it might seem like a waste of time, but it's not, because a will is the only financial package or financial service or whatever that 100% of us will use. Every single person watching this video is eventually going to pass away. And the will is going to be something that's very necessary to help your loved ones move forward. So like having a budget, like tracking, and like having a diverse portfolio, a will is super important. In fact, I would argue that on our little pyramid of financial knowledge, a will, living trust, stuff like that is all like the very first level of stuff you want. Like you make your budget, you make your will. Well, anyway, guys, sorry about the gloomy video, but believe me, it's very important. And if I seem like I'm very worked up about it, it's because I've seen what happens when people don't do it and how easy you can completely, if somebody passes away, it's already somebody else's worst day of their life. And now you're going to add so much more to it because they don't know or they don't have access to funding or property or whatever that they may need just to keep roofs over the kids' heads now. So it's very important. So I hope you learned something from this video. I did not really enjoy looking this stuff up, but I do feel like it's an important lesson. So please take my words, go LegalZoom, go to pay the $50, or even go and get your own Make Your Will kit from like Office Max or Staples or whatever. Even like a certified letter might do depending on your state. I'm not really sure on that, but just do what you have to do to make sure your loved ones know what you want and they have access to the assets they need to if something should happen to you unexpectedly. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Give me a like, share, subscribe, and keep saving.